welcome back to this video today on my channel. Hope you're all doing good. Today I'm going to have a chat with you about my disability. I thought it's time to tell you. You've probably seen my intro to YouTube, which was a couple of months ago, that I did state I had a disability, and I've been thinking about it. I'm going to talk to you about my disability today. So, the disability I've got is named distal spinal muscular atrophy. So it's a spinal disability, so it's affected by the spinal cord being damaged. I have been born with this. I was born with this disability, so I've lived with it for the whole of my life. So as I said, it was a spinal problem, so it can affect either the upper body, the lower body, or either side of the body. So it could affect the left side, it could affect the right side. With me, it has affected the lower body, so anything below my hips, so legs, my legs are the ones which are affected, so that stops me from running, it stops me from, makes me tired when I walk, so I can't walk very long distances. If I walk too long, my back starts to hurt and my legs start to hurt, and if I don't have a sit down, I will become in a lot of pain. So that's like a brief description of what it is. Distal spinal muscular atrophy it comes in 3 types. 1 is serious type, 2 medium, 3 is quite calm. What's the word? I can't think of the word. With my one, they haven't nailed it down to what type it is yet. My doctors which are dealing with are helping me with finding what type it is. They still can't find a cure. Well, there isn't a cure for distal spinal muscular atrophy. They can't find the right gene to do the tests on to find out which one, what type I fall into. So I have got distal spinal muscular atrophy, but I don't know what type it is. I don't know if it's 3 or 2. They're looking between 3 or 2. It all depends on what it is really. So winter months mostly affects it. So when it's cold, like today it's been raining, my legs will start to ache even more than in the summer months or hot days. So it will affect me a lot, and it does affect me now and now. So back to my school days, I got bullied a lot because of my disability. I think people think if you have a disability, you're completely different to someone else. You're in a set group to anyone else. So if you have a disability, you can't hang around with people who are normal. Let's say normal. People who can run, who can do whatever, jump, stuff that I can't do. So what it is, people single you out. So yeah, you've got a disability. No, you're not coming to play with us. Go away. We don't want to be hanging around with someone with disability. And it happens out in the street as well. People will look at me funny, like, oh, he walks with a limp, he's obviously disabled. Oh, stay away from him. Not very nice. But people with disability can do stuff what other people can't. Like, I've lived with my disability for the whole of my life, and I'm happy to have a disability. If someone said to me tomorrow, what would you rather have? Would you not have a disability? If you could change one thing in your life, if you had to keep your disability or not keep your disability, what would you say? Well, I would say I would keep my disability because it's me. I've learned that if someone looks at me and says, oh, you've got a disability, I don't give a crap. If they want to say, oh, you can't run fast, I don't care. I have a disability, I've lived with it, and I'm proud of it, and my family support me, which is great, and just with living with a disability. Also, it really annoys me that I am registered disabled, and this is the one thing that gets me. This happened to me a couple of weeks ago actually. I'm going to tell you this story. This happened when I was parking in Tesco's. I was using a disabled space, and someone came up to me and said, you can't use that space because you're not in a wheelchair. So people like that think people who's got a disability has to be either in a wheelchair or can't walk. Now, people look at me and go, you haven't got a disability, when technically if you take away stuff from me, I have got a disability. It all depends on what type of disability you've got. People might, like myself, I've got a disability, but I'm not in a wheelchair, so how do you know that I have a disability? That's the one thing what people think. If you have a disability, you're automatically in a wheelchair. That's the two things what people think. If you have a disability, wheelchair. People in wheelchairs, it gets jumped around that we all have disabilities, we all should be in wheelchairs. But no, there is different types of disability that doesn't recommend wheelchairs. Like distal spinal muscular atrophy, type 1, yes, you're amended a wheelchair, you need to be in a wheelchair. Type 2, wheelchair and people can walk. Type 3, mainly people with abled body parts. So it really gets me when people think that a disability is someone in a wheelchair. It is not. It's not a wheelchair disability. You can have any sort of disability. It doesn't have to be in a wheelchair. This is the one thing I don't like when people say to me that if you have a disability, get in a wheelchair. Some people will get really angry. Like at school, people would say, oh, why are you not in a wheelchair? You walk like a penguin. Some assaults like that, like people will bully me, and it did affect me a bit. And later on in life, I've got to live with my disability, and bullying does happen in school, and I did get intensely bullied for my disability. But now, I think if people didn't bully me, I wouldn't be like this. I wouldn't be as strong to say, yes, I do have a disability and I'm proud to have a disability. So I've vented myself now, so I've said what I wanted to say. I hope you enjoyed this. Please spread this on social media to get it out there that people with disabilities are the same as normal people. Okay, so I'm going to end this video here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was quite opening, that I've spreaded it. If you've got any questions about disability or you want to speak to me about having a disability, follow me on Facebook, find me on Facebook, find me on Twitter, send me a tweet. I'm not bothered if it's anything, I will answer it. Anything you want to know about disability or myself with a disability, how it affects me or how I deal with it. If you want to contact me and talk to me about disabilities, if you're having a bit of a hard time in school or something, give me a tweet, send me a Facebook message. I will leave all the links to that in the description bar, and please spread this to the world. So I will see you in another video, and hope you enjoy the day. Bye.